Hey, what is up guys, it's Silver Sun here, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my review on the Dragon Ball Super episode 92. Alright, so this episode pretty much starts off where the last episode left off, to where Goku was flying off to Mr. Satan's house, and basically when he arrives, Boo really is asleep, and he's pretty much like knocked out. Nothing will wake him up at that point, and pretty much they're gonna have to wait 2 months for him to wake up again, so like that. So it pretty much seems like he's not gonna be participating in the tournament, which really sucks in my opinion, because he looked pretty epic in the preliminaries round and stuff like that. So it's a pretty big shame that he can't participate, at least for the time being. But pretty much we go on to see the Pride Troopers, and pretty much that like general like Pride Trooper, he actually did save that cat from the last episode and whatnot. He helped those kids and stuff, and pretty much Topo arrives, and he's pretty much telling him like, oh, we gotta go train for the tournament and stuff like that. You know, the recruits that we have and stuff like that, they can help like protect everyone and stuff like that while we're away. At least I think that's what they were saying. I'm not completely sure, but pretty much they're just discussing what they're gonna do for the tournament, pretty much, and he's trying to like get him to join. And then we cut back to Boo, who's still asleep, and then pretty much Goku's like not knowing what to do and stuff like that. Beerus is pretty much watching them, all ticked off, wanting to beat the crap out of Majin Buu for falling asleep like that, and I can't blame him. So after that, we're pretty much presented with this like big Death Star like I want to say it's a planet, or it's probably more or less the Universe 3's God Destruction's their his home, and pretty much it's like all robotic and like kind of futuristic and stuff. And then pretty much they're like showing him like all these warriors that they have for him. In particular, this like robot, I think his name was Nigrami, Nigrashimi. Nigrashimi. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly, but something like that. I know it started with an N. But pretty much it's like this big robot basically, and he has like all these features and whatnot that they're pretty much sure that he won't lose in this tournament. And they also have like a whole bunch of other robots pretty much like stored, getting ready for the tournament and stuff like that. So they're pretty much prepared there. And so pretty much we go back to Universe 7 to where Krillin and 18 and Maroon pretty much show up, and pretty much Maroon and or Marin I should say goes with Goten and Trunks to go see Bola. And then pretty much Krillin's like wondering where's Master Roshi and stuff like that, and Boo, and pretty much Gohan says that Master Roshi is pretty much like training a little bit, you know, trying to fight his weaknesses, similar to what happened in the last episode, and he actually did overcome it, so that was pretty cool to see. And pretty much he pretty much said that Boo's, you know, asleep at this point and stuff like that. And then Piccolo's pretty much thinking like, oh, they're probably gonna have to enter as a nine player team basically, to where the Supreme Kai pretty much says like, no, it has to be 10 because that's what Zeno-sama would want. And so everyone's pretty much relying on Gohan as the team leader to pretty much make a decision. And pretty much he says like, oh, he's sure that, you know, Goku will wake him up and stuff like that. And so pretty much Krillin pretty much states like, oh, you know, there's lots of money on the line and stuff like that, so we can't lose this and stuff. And then pretty much everybody's confused because they were offered like a different prize and whatnot. So they're pretty much confused and just like wondering like, well, if it's not that, then what's like the prize about and stuff like that, like what's happening and such. But before anyone could get an answer in, pretty much Vegeta basically blows up the time chamber again, and everybody felt his energy. And it was pretty cool the way he stepped out, like all the smoke and stuff like that, and the light behind him and whatnot. But yeah, pretty much he just blew up the time chamber once again. So from there, we pretty much transitioned to Universe 6, to where pretty much Cabba's trying to teach Khalifa how to turn into a Super Saiyan, and pretty much he like tries to get her mad at first and whatnot, having that anger, kind of take control over her, but it doesn't really work. And so pretty much he explains to her that like there's like this tingly feeling you get like in your back basically. And at first I thought he was like fibbing or like lying or whatever, just because like I don't know, that's never really been explained on how to like turn into a Super Saiyan like that. Like that's never really been anything that they talked about before, at least I don't think. But evidently it works. Pretty much she turns into a Super Saiyan. Like she at first she kinda transforms into it, but then, she reverts back to her base form. But when she does, fully transform into a Super Saiyan, she's pretty powerful, obviously. She pretty much shoots off this like blast. And it was pretty cool how the colors changed. It really reminded me of like Broly when he transformed. Like, I'm not saying that when she transformed, the colors were changing and stuff like that. When she did that blast, like the colors, like the background and whatnot changed and stuff like that. And then pretty much she released it, and it was like really powerful. Everything was getting blown away and stuff like that. Pretty epic to see. Um, and so pretty much while that's going on, pretty much Kale. She's pretty much hiding behind these rocks and stuff like that. And I was kind of surprised that at least Kaba didn't notice it, because he was staring at. Well, he wasn't staring, but like he was looking in that general direction to where Kale was hiding at. But Khalifa knew the whole time, and pretty much she's just saying like, oh, she's my prodigy and whatnot. And then pretty much Kale pretty much emerges from the rocks and stuff like that, and Khalifa's pretty much saying like, oh, do what I did and try to become a Super Saiyan and whatnot, but she's pretty much doubting herself, thinking that she can't, do something like that. And so pretty much we move away from that back to Universe 7 again, to where Goku's pretty much arriving back at Bulma's place, with everyone else just standing around. But pretty much everybody's ticked off at him, especially Krillin, because he pretty much lied to them about the prize and like what's at stake for the tournament of power. And so pretty much they find out from Gohan. Pretty much he told them the truth and whatnot. And it kind of felt like there was gonna be something like leading up to it, but pretty much it ultimately just boils down to Krillin not entering because Goku pretty much like lied about it and stuff like that and wasn't truthful with them. Which, I mean, I wouldn't like quit if I was him, but like I do agree that Goku should have just been honest with them like from the get go and stuff like that. Like I'm sure they would have understood, especially if the whole universe is at stake. I mean, sure they probably would have been scared and whatnot, but then that kind of would have motivated them to train harder and like try to do good and like survive and whatnot. But pretty much Krillin doesn't really want to enter until pretty much Beerus comes along. He's pretty much just saying like, oh, if you don't enter, I'll destroy you and whatnot. And then pretty much Bulma pretty much offers to like pay anyone that like wants like the 10 billion, 10 million Zenny and stuff like that. And so pretty much everyone's still gonna enter and stuff like that, but they're still down 9 members. And so pretty much Beerus actually brings up like the Frieza army and whatnot, saying that they like destroyed them and stuff like that. If they hadn't did that, then maybe there could have been more people able to participate, and that gives Goku the idea of visiting Frieza of all people, and everybody's pretty much shocked at this, and so am I. And so pretty much it gives us like a little quick like snapshot of Frieza is still in hell, pretty much dangling in that cocoon of his with the cherry blossom tree and everything like that. So yeah, it should be a pretty interesting episode next time and stuff like that, with Goku having to visit Frieza and whatnot. That should be pretty interesting to see. I don't know, like what I hope happens is, Frieza obviously does participate, seeing what he can do, seeing all the possibilities that could happen with that going on and stuff like that. But I want to see Boo come in at some point. Like I just want to see what he can do in this tournament, because obviously he has a whole bunch of techniques, a whole bunch of things that he could do that probably won't be seen unless he doesn't like join in later on or something like that. Like maybe like after Frieza's gone and stuff like that, pretty much Boo comes in and he pretty much fills in that spot once again. I think that'd be pretty cool to see. But that was pretty much it for this episode. I thought it was pretty good, more or less the same of what happened last episode. Pretty much just showing us the different universes on how they're going with the tournament of power, how they're recruiting people and stuff like that, what they're gonna be doing and stuff like that. but it was a little bit more enjoyable, especially with that little like cliffhanger ending that we got. The little bit. I mean, like we kind of already knew about this. I knew about it. From like all the news and stuff like that, and like what everybody else has been saying and stuff like that. It was pretty evident that this was gonna happen. But for those of you that didn't, keep up with the news or anything like that, I'm sure it was pretty surprising, to you guys. But yeah, it should be pretty interesting to see how that transpires next episode and stuff like that. But tell me what you guys thought of this episode. Did you guys like it? Did you guys hate it? Did you think that anything else could have happened in this episode? You guys excited for the next episode, seeing Frieza return, having Goku going to go visit him and stuff like that. Seeing how that little interaction will go along. And yeah, so yeah, until the next one, guys. Silver Sun is out.